Hey everyone, welcome to the program. This is Andy. Glad to have you with us today on Go Where Your Prospects Aren't. So for years, I had it backwards. I thought that the goal of business networking was to network with prospects. I mean, it sounds reasonable enough. You network to increase sales. So you want to be in front of as many prospects as possible, right? I mean, I even took it so far that I would only sit down to talk to people if I was looking to buy from them or expected them to buy from me. And in fact, I remember that I got that actual advice from a networking group that I attended. It's as well-meaning as it is misguided, that in order to sit down with someone, that their advice was that before I sat down with someone, I should figure out some sort of way that we could be customers of each other, figure out some sort of connection that could be there. And you'll see, this is a huge waste of time. It was a huge waste of time for me and for them. Because for a lot of this stuff, you can't figure this out ahead of time, right? I mean, in a lot of networking and a lot of the people that I work with, you notice things exactly like this basketball play. The guy's not really looking at the guy who's wide open under the basket. And for me, certainly, there were opportunities in networking that were just there for the taking. But I was so focused on trying to draw these connections ahead of time rather than just having the conversations with people and seeing where they went. Which is why today we're going to talk about 3 ways to go where your prospects aren't. We're going to show you why the biggest networking opportunities are with people who will never, ever buy from you, and how to develop those relationships to the point that you're naturally and authentically exchanging leads. And again, I encourage you to talk to the chat box. If you have questions as we go through, you know me. I like to be interactive. So go ahead, and if you have any questions, feel free. Some people have already typed stuff in. Thanks, Asser, who's in New Zealand, which is awesome. Awesome to have you on the call today. Some of our regulars are here too, so that's good. What we're going to be talking about today, the 3 techniques that we are going to talk about today, we're going to talk about go where your prospects aren't. And so the first one we're going to talk about, first technique is called friendly. The second technique is called connected. And the third technique that we're going to talk about is called again. And so let's go ahead and get started with friendly. So back when I was single, many years ago now, I would go to speed dating events occasionally. We had 7-minute dates. And it's usually pretty awkward. We'll talk more about that in a minute. But one time, it got especially awkward because this one woman who I enjoyed the initial 7-minute conversation with, I asked her out on the second date. And only to realize that between us, we only had about 8 minutes of conversation together. That's right. By the time we got to the place where we were having our drinks, we had run out of things to talk about, and it was a very uncomfortable it was a very uncomfortable date. And so the question always is, could I have known that ahead of time? Or is there a way to rule this out? And of course not. I mean, that's the whole point of speed dating. You go and you meet a bunch of people and you see who you want to get to know better, and hopefully you want to get to know them better and they want to get to you know better, and it goes. But that's why you have first and second and third dates, because sometimes it seems okay, but then it doesn't seem okay. And so the mistake people make in business networking is thinking that you want to get to know your prospects better. So again, I'll say it again. So the mistake people make in business networking is thinking that somehow you want to find your prospects and get to know them better. And this is wrong. It's just wrong. It's the wrong approach, because you don't want to get to know your prospects better. You want to sell to them. You want them to buy things from you. That's what you want from your prospects. And you know what? That's fine, as long as you're not confusing the networking with sales. And I'll say it a couple of times today, and as those of you who follow me have heard this a bunch of times, that we don't really want to confuse networking with sales. We sell to prospects, and we network with non-prospects, which opens up a whole new set of possibilities at any networking event. You can connect with anyone, right? I mean, most of the people in the room are actually not your prospects. And so anyone there can be a valuable addition to your network. And so how do you decide? Because they're everywhere. Like the non-prospects are everywhere. So how do you decide? And so the thing I'll suggest today is that you want to network with people who are friendly, people that you enjoy talking to, because all else being equal, you're going to be